Hey everybody, what's going on? Dace here, and today we're going to be taking a look at my guide video for Gunvein, specifically on Intense Mode with Type B. And this is more or less for it's a no-miss strategy. Now, there are a few things that I want to say in particular about my approach, and things that I found I could not rely on in this game. And I'm not going to go super in depth. But there were a couple things. So for instance, the iframes when bombing, I found that I could not trust that, because even a split second after using the bomb, I would notice that sometimes I would be taking hits, even though other times I would be able to perfectly just count on that, when I first started playing. So that inconsistency was very strange to see. And so when I saw that it would happen here and there, well within the iframes window, I was well, okay, I better just play it more safe, because I keep seeing this happening for whatever reason. Another thing is, if you have seen Type C in action, or you've played it yourself, you'll know how ridiculously strong the attack power is. Up against bosses, I know from my own experience that you can pretty much skip entire attack phases. If you are using you're dropping a charge shot and then you're firing and you're using a bomb, whatever, the HP of the boss just melts. And so in that sense, it's not that you don't need to learn certain things here and there, but you have the luxury of skipping over huge chunks of each boss fight. Compared to Type B, which is what we're focusing on here, you don't have that luxury at all. You can't really, obviously you want your resources going in, but you can't rely on them to make it through the boss fights. You will just need to be able to dodge stuff, because if you have, even when I'm bombing and shooting and locking on and all this kind of stuff, it barely puts any sort of dent into the boss's HP. You're in those fights for a long time compared to Type C. So you're just going to need to get used to that kind of stuff. So if I didn't mention it, this is kind of a no-miss. It is segmented. I do want to get around to actually doing a commentary for my 1cc, but I'm just not sure when I'm going to get there. And there are a few things that I haven't decided if I even want to talk about in relation to that, because there's just a lot of information. There are some things that the more I played the game, I kind of started to feel unimpressed with certain aspects, and I haven't decided what I want to do with that commentary yet. But I just decided to jump in, do the segmented recording last night, and just get this up in case it helps other people. So you may see a few edit jumps where it's it just cuts to a fresh start at the boss, and that's just because I fumbled something silly or whatever the case is. But yeah, in terms of the difficult sections, I'm not sure if there might be some overlap of information when I do the commentary for my clear. But we'll see what we all get into. There aren't going to be any sort of slow-mo sections or anything like that. I'm just doing this all in one shot, and it's going to be what it is. But I don't think that's an issue, because for the most part, even though the game will look chaotic and frantic at times or whatever, it doesn't actually throw a whole lot your way. The timing of the waves of enemies and things like that are all pretty simple and straightforward. So once you know just a bit of the flow, you don't even really need to learn or memorize that much in this game. You'll be fine. So obviously it's going to still take however long it does for you, depending on your skill level and just the experience in general, but I'm trusting this can serve as a beneficial resource for you all. Okay, so let's just get right into the gameplay. One more thing I'll mention before we get into the gameplay and the actual guide portion is that while this is a consistent no-miss approach that I use, it's not any sort of hyper-optimized or complete breakdown based off of in-depth just playing and stuff like that. I did for my actual clear anyway, I did zero stage practice. I literally just wanted to go into this game doing pure runs and no sort of in-depth like dissection. The thing is, like with some games, they really inspire me to just go all out and just to like find out every little detail and just really dig deeply into it and explore and all that kind of stuff. And I'm excited to do that. And I put huge time and energy into that kind of stuff outside of the runs. But with Gunvein, there was no such inspiration or anything like that. I can maybe touch more on that in the actual 1cc commentary when I get around to that. But yeah, so what you're seeing here is just the approach and the things that I put together just from doing a run here, a run there, as the days went by and that kind of stuff. But yeah, there was literally like no practice whatsoever. So anyway, yeah, let's get right into it then. So in stage 1, things are obviously pretty straightforward. You'll notice that I'm not attacking these guys right away and that I start with a bomb. Part of the approach is to, or at least at the very start, prioritize getting your shield as soon as possible. So we need to earn 1 life first and then earn the next score bracket for the shield, and then you want to preserve that as long as you can. So yeah, all the bombs you see in this stage, none of them are because like, oh, a hit was almost taken or it was like a panic moment. That was not the case at all. These are all specific times to more or less capitalize on the gold stars. And for the most part, I'll point out the ones where like I do use one like in later stages for those other reasons. But for the most part, I finish every mid-boss and stage-end boss with a bomb just to soak up as much gold and score as possible to keep the lives and stuff topped up. So anyway, pretty straightforward stuff. This game, in terms of like the enemy waves and stuff, things are very simple. Like you just more or less learn the flow of what enemies are where, how they attack. And then there is just an insane amount of just back and forth in this game. So in that sense, it doesn't really pose too much issue. But anyway, for this first attack, you kind of just go through here. The second attack, they kind of like bend around at different times. So you just got to watch out for that. And then just simple stuff for going through there. And then for here, you just go through the gaps like that. You can line up with like 2 or 3 sometimes, or whatever the case is. For this last attack, I like just dodging it, and so that's why I was just holding off. But here we go, bomb just to finish and get the gold, even though there's no threat there whatsoever. So if you don't want to do that approach, then you can just save your bombs, and that's fine too. And we are almost at the stage end boss. And then just the final wave of dudes. But of course, because we are using more bombs that we don't actually need to use, that means you're going to want to for sure grab stuff, like fragments as often as you can. So bomb right when you see that attack coming, and of course use the lock on so you can get the gold from those 4 sections that we just blew up. And then just kind of stay to the side, and then for this attack, back and forth, and then it's over. And then there will be a bunch of different types of attacks that it does in this final phase. And then there's the first life already. And then just bomb here to finish that off. So this is like the only boss in the whole game where you'll actually see the health melt away fast with the weakest ship. Like the stage 1 is the exception, of course. But after that, like, everything will just take longer to do. But anyway, let's jump into stage 2. So stage 2 is more or less another, fairly simple level. Just prioritize these medium ships, learn where they show up, and just deal with them quickly. And that way you don't have things cluttering the screen too much. Like, obviously kill stuff as quickly as you can. That goes for, like, pretty much any part of the journey. And then take out that guy that drops down. So I will attack that guy. There's a section coming up where 2 show up. That's very soon. So just deal with this section like that. Just kind of go back. Like I said, back and forth. Like there's just a boatload of that. It's just swaying back and forth. So here's the section. You can damage the first one a little bit and then damage the second one a little bit and then finish them both off with a bomb to get the gold from them. And then again, it's just back and forth stuff, grabbing as many fragments as you can. And then there are like these huge ground-based structures here and there. I think there are more coming up. So for here, you can damage this thing a little bit, but I back away because I want to wait and catch all of those little enemies with that burst just to get as much out of each bomb as possible. And then, yeah, you just kind of like stay in the middle area or dodge however you want. You can approach it however. And of course, finish with a bomb. And then just, if too many of these guys do this stuff, then that's when it can get messy. So I think I just like bomb there. But normally I never even actually need to bomb there. That was just a rushed recording that I wasn't going to do like a second take for. So I just left that in there. But that section is actually pretty easy to deal with. And for the attack these things are doing, they just crisscross over. So you can just like move in between. It's pretty simple stuff, even though it may appear confusing at first. So for this section, just take out things as they show up, but very soon I always head to the left because there's a part where that one starts, and then I just move over to from like one side to the other, or from the left to the right, just to stay in between all those targeting shots. So for this, you just go over here like that, and then I just drop down and just start moving over. Really simple. You don't have to do any sort of weaving in and out, none of that kind of stuff. And then here, this is, again, just simple tiny taps and then over to the side, and then just start inching. Yet again, like all we're doing is going from one side to the other side of the screen. And we're already done the first third of this boss. And there's, oh yeah, okay, so I'll explain that after this something I want to say. This attack can sometimes trip you up, of course, so if you need to use a bomb here, just do it. Like, doesn't matter. There's a lot of stuff coming your way all at once. And then this part is just simple weaving back and forth through here. It looks crazy, but you'll adjust to it in no time. And then, yeah, just go through the gaps. If you need to use 2 bombs here, one to just kind of like save yourself if something is a little risky, and then one to get the gold at the end. That works. So because I'm just jumping into the stage select for this recording specifically, like all these stages, that means we're always starting with the default stage select amount of like score of 0, I think. So you'll never actually see me with the shield, but it's not a big deal. Stage 3 is slightly more involved with what the game throws at you, but it's easy enough to stay on top of things. So again, just learn where the waves come in. You can just start from that one side to take out that guy pretty quickly, but it's not like it does dangerous attacks or anything. And then just take out those like central things, which there are a handful of them here, just like one side then the other sort of thing. And they go down quickly, so you don't need to be too concerned about that. But yeah, just stay on top of all these guys. There's another one of those things. And then here's a great place to just grab fragments and that kind of stuff, so yeah. And we were almost at the midway boss already. So this is a pretty easy one. You just tap dodge. It will do 2 attacks like this, and then these things come out, and they'll both do a variety of attacks here and there. So it may just be a matter of getting used to like what they do and how to avoid them, that kind of thing. But again, if you need to use bombs here, that's fine, because it's like if you're destroying the drones, you're getting gold stars, and of course we're going to finish the boss off with a bomb anyway. So yeah, It's a great time to just soak up some extra points. These things look crazy, but they're not. You just stay in front of them to kill the little turrets that are mounted, and then you can just lock on. If it doesn't pan out that way every single time, it doesn't matter because you can just lock on and take the whole thing out anyway. And then just like back and forth stuff again. And then just stay on that guy. These two dudes drop super quick as well, so, and then one more of these and we're already to the boss. So interestingly enough, I know like a lot of people struggle hard with stage 3. I didn't find this to be challenging. Like I certainly had more challenge with other bosses, which I can touch on but when we get there, but this one kind of just went like a breeze by comparison to other things. That's not to say it doesn't throw a ton your way, but I think I just kind of had certain ideas in mind that I could put to use and that just worked out. So now for these attacks, you can move away with the bullets as they're going, just to like kind of give yourself a sense of like more safety. I bomb there because if it ever spawns right above you, you can either use your like red and black shot thingy or a bomb, just because it's right there. You don't have to like scramble away. You can easily afford to use a bomb because you don't actually, yeah, like it's just what it is. Normally I never need to bomb here. It's just kind of like tapping one direction and weaving back and forth. But for whatever reason, I just fumbled it. And like I said earlier, I wasn't going to like do another take. So it's just what it is. And then of course, this is just what it is. You'll need to get used to just the timing of those shots that come out while the things are spinning. And of course, we finish with a bomb for the gold. So to start stage 4, you'll notice how I go right to this side, up through that gap, and then start inching my way over to be in alignment with that enemy so it comes down quick. And then just take these dudes out, all these little guys. And then there's this big guy that shows up, so I do it on this side so that I can catch these enemies coming in and then work my way over to this side for this big guy. And then we have one more big guy right there. And then you just weave through here. And we're done the first portion of the stage already. So for these, just drop down, tap away, and then take out these dudes and get ready for some big turrets, which are very, very easy to deal with. You just tap to the side once and you're good. And then there's a third one right there. And then we have a handful of these medium-sized ships showing up. You have all sorts of space in between the attacks, so you don't need to feel threatened by that at all. Everything spreads out pretty widely. So for the stage 4 mid-boss, this actually tripped me up at first, and it's only because I wasn't simply observing like the obvious things, and then when I took literally 2 seconds, I realized, oh, okay, the arms are moving back and forth. So it's very simple, but it will take some getting used to. But yeah, very quickly you'll just be doing fine against that. And then for this attack, it's the pink shots are just targeting you, so you just go from one side to the other. And then finish with a bomb for the gold. Blow up as many of the stones as you can, just like because of the fragments, obviously. And then we got one of these big guys on this side, and then on the left side as well. And then we have like I think, yeah, these 2 tanks show up, and then right after we are going to have a wave of these large ships. So just kind of back and forth stuff, you'll get a feel for this. And then same thing, drop down, tap away, destroy it quickly. And then I just kind of like gradually work my way over so that I'm lined up with that guy, and then this guy right away. If 2 of them start going off at the same time, that's when things can get pretty crazy. I go up and around that attack, start inching over, do the reverse so that you are on this side for the turret. And then you do this next one. You can do it however you want. And then it's just like another wave of these dudes. And here we are. So I think I did like slip up something, so I think we jump into just this section specifically. So this boss throws a lot your way. I go up to the side like that. I find that is more consistently safe for me, even though you can just kind of stay in the middle. For this, as you can see, I'm just like inching back and forth. Sometimes you can completely avoid even needing to go through those middle sections if you're just staying on the outside, but yeah. And then for this, just, yeah, doing your best to just find the free gaps, I'll call them, and then just stay in between there. And you're done the first third of the boss's health. It's sometimes easy for this to get cramped, but yeah, just it goes how it does. For whatever reason, I started going up the side. Normally I'm just in the bottom middle the whole time. So I think because I had like just done something silly that I never do before, like that I've never done before, I just decided to use a bomb to play it safe there. And then for here, just stay at the bottom of the screen in between like that. And just dodge as best you can when those rings, those bending rings come flying out. And then you'll have like a wave of these attacks, and then these dudes come out. And then another wave of these red things, and then another wave of these enemy things, and then, of course, we're going to finish with a bomb. If you don't want to, or let's say like you're already at the max lives, max like your shield as well, and you don't actually have anything to earn score toward, then of course you can just save your bomb for the next level. Alright, the final stage. So to begin this one, I always go up here to the left, avoid those two attacks, and then this way you just take out those guys right there, and then go to the other side, do the same thing, and then just get rid of that guy quickly, and stay on that turret until it's gone, and then just kind of like drop through there, damage that turret as much as possible, then move your way over here for the next turret. And get rid of that guy quick, and this guy quickly as well. And then you have like a wave here. I go like this, just so that you can then be in alignment with that guy. You can just move like away from it like that, because it spreads out quite a bit, so you have all sorts of room. And then I just go up here to start, and just inch your way down and over, and just keep going over, and then start going back. You have all sorts of free space here to work with, like nothing's crazy right now. You can keep the capsule thing intact and destroy it when you need a bullet cancel. These attacks would sometimes trip me up when I first started jumping into this stage, but yeah, that's just what it is. And then just weave through that stuff. And then we have this attack. So if you need to use a bomb at any point, feel free to do that. This attack can be nasty sometimes. It's very easy to just get cornered. So never hesitate to just use something if you need it dealt with. And then I start over here. Again, like I said, I haven't done any sort of practice, so this is kind of me just like figuring things out. Just whatever is like simple and natural, and so once again it's just like back and forth kind of stuff. And if you do need it, like I said like just a moment ago, just use a bomb. Like you get so many fragments. And again, we have another capsule right there too. I think I end up destroying that one, but like if you were going to require it or build that into your approach or your routing or whatever, then you would make sure that you don't destroy it. So yeah, just take care of those things, and then you have like some of these guys. Again, you would not destroy that capsule. That's where I was shooting, so I was like, whatever, and I don't actually need it for this part, so. But you could easily plan for keeping that intact. And so again, just like back and forth kind of stuff. And then before long, there's the last one down. So one medium dude, another medium will come right there. This stage is probably going to feel like a really wild time at first, but like things will just click. And then just like over there, away from that guy, and then another one shows up, so you can just move away like that. And then just inching over. And then you have these two big guys. So you could easily have been on the left first, just to take it out that much faster, but it's not actually as crazy as it looks. And then I think I fumbled something again, so I just did like an edit jump to here. So yeah, just grab as many fragments as you can from here. And here we go. So for this attack, for the final boss, it's just simple tapping over to be in between the red shots while paying attention to the purple white ones, and then just like go up in between things like that. If you need to use a bomb, do it, because that's what they're there for. And then this spot is like always the safe spot for me. You never need to move, but you do need to back away from those when they start showing up, those circular ones. And then for this, just, yeah, weave through it, like just little taps here and there, and boom, that section is finished. So that crisscrosses over. I actually forgot that it did that second attack right away. That's why I used a bomb, but as long as you're anticipating that, you'll know to just start moving as soon as you get through that crisscrossing pattern of circular shots. And then for this, you just stay in between the line work and focus on the dropping stuff. And boom, there we go. Now the TLB is next. So for the TLB, if I'm being completely honest, it is a breeze. Again, like I didn't do any sort of practice with this. It's pretty straightforward. Like it looks crazy and it might feel crazy, but it's just like tapping a little bit here and there, tapping to get out of there, going like, again, swaying from one side to the other just to avoid something like that. And then if you need to, just bomb just to be on the safe side. But like we're almost done. Like the health goes so quick. And I did pay attention to how many bombs I had for at the end of the final boss, and so I made sure I only used that amount here, just to keep things like legitimate. But yeah, there we go. So I think what we might do is do like a slow-mo version. I'm actually, now that I'm recording, I'm feeling inspired to do that, so I'll throw that in right now. Okay, so after, I'm going to share some additional thoughts and things that I want to clarify after, but we'll just focus on this in slow motion first. So this is at half speed, so it comes in right away. So as you can see, you can more or less stay in the middle area, and it's just a matter of kind of like gauging whether you need to be tapping left or right. And then of course when the waves do, like those big groups do show up, then you can just move between them. Here you're kind of just moving from one side to the other and through that kind of stuff, and then one side to the other again. And then we have this attack. Again, just one side to the other through here. If I gave this any sort of practice, like I wouldn't even need to use a bomb here, because the health just goes down so quickly. And again, like a lot of things in this game, even though it looks crazy and intense, there's all sorts of space to use. It's just a matter of overcoming the intimidation. Like I didn't really feel that so much in this game at all, but I'm sure that will be the case for like a lot of people, because like the screen half the time is just like filled with bullets and all this crazy stuff. So yeah, when I say something is like really easy, it's like, I mean like it's simple. There are simple solutions as long as you kind of just like take a look at like what's going on. And that's where you really do need to just like kind of step away from the idea that like tons of bullets on screen means like a chaotic time, because usually there's just, you're going to be fine as long as you like just put some practical things into motion. You'll do fine in this. But yeah, like certainly compared to how long some of the other boss fights go, the TLB like drops like nothing. So don't feel like the TLB in this game is like this super insane challenge and you've got to have like all these resources, because you're probably, yeah, like you might have a few shaky times the first 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever the case is, times that you get there, but there's really not a whole lot in this fight that needs figuring out or that requires like these insane maneuvers. And I'm trusting I've kind of like demonstrated that here. So yeah, because this was not a super in-depth guide like some of my other ones like Gun Nail or Rolling Gunner, let me know if you do have any questions or you do want help with a specific part, because I can certainly do some private videos or whatever the case is to shed a little more light on some of those specific things if that is going to be of help to anybody. So anyway, I trust this has served you today. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and let me know how your runs are going, or like what you're struggling with the most, or anything you feel like sharing. But yeah, I think we'll leave off there. Have a stellar one. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you next time.